What if a baby mastodon suddenly dropped into the Jurassic 150 million years ago, right into a jungle packed with apex predators? Could this tiny guy actually survive? Boom! A flash of white light, and out drops a 1-month-old emperor mastodon calf. He crashes into a world that existed 150 million years ago, the Jurassic. This little dude weighs just 300 kilos, barely 1.2 meters at the shoulder. And his tusks? Basically 2 tiny white toothpicks. He lets out one confused little call. And the answer? A distant roar powerful enough to make the ground tremble. No mother. No herd, just an entire continent full of things that want to eat him. Normally, a baby dropped into this situation would find a hole and hide. But unfortunately, this baby was born a professional troublemaker. 3 days after landing, he completely forgot what fear was. A group of small predators are drinking by the river, and this little elephant charges straight at them. Boom! He sends the leader flying 2 meters. Then he spots some tiny pterosaurs resting nearby. So he grabs a rock with his trunk, and whack! He watches the poor thing flap around, and this little menace actually makes a happy little grunt. In this jungle, he is officially the most annoying toddler alive. But a few days later, he picks the wrong dinosaur. A 9-meter predator is resting by the river. It's busy feeding, and here comes our tiny elephant, sneaking up from behind. He raises his little tusk, and gives the predator's tail a tiny little poke. Then he runs! To him, it's just another game. Except, he made one tiny mistake. The predator spins around. A massive skull rises, revealing rows of 7-centimeter teeth, and its expression says only one thing. Run! Those tiny legs are slipping everywhere. Thump, thump, thump. For the first time, he realizes this isn't a game anymore. He's pushed all the way to the riverbank. Nowhere to run. The predator lowers its head, its enormous jaws open, and then the river explodes! A nearly 2-meter-long crocodilian jaw bursts from the water. It grabs the predator, and suddenly everything goes quiet. A 12-meter, 7-ton prehistoric crocodilian, one giant ambush, and the apex predator disappears beneath the muddy water. Silence. The giant crocodilian turns, looks at the baby, and sinks back into the river. And the baby elephant is just standing there like, what exactly just happened? That crocodilian was the undisputed giant of its ecosystem. And here's the crazy part. It came through the same mysterious rift, just much earlier. From that day on, the baby learned one important rule: stay near the river. He had no teacher, no herd, just a river that kept getting wider, and an attitude that apparently refused to learn any lessons. Year 1, 1 ton. He learns to use his trunk to snap small tree trunks. Year 3, 4 tons. His tusks pass 1 meter, and suddenly trees become his gym equipment. Bam, bam, bam! Practices ramming them all day. Year 5, 5 tons. Now he can shove a massive rival back 5 whole steps. But the rival doesn't appreciate that. It charges. And our mastodon charges right back. But then, he lures the fight onto a muddy riverbank. Bad idea. Rival loses its footing, and 5 tons of mastodon slam sideways into it. The impact echoes across the forest. For the first time, he defeats a major Jurassic predator all by himself. And that's when this little guy discovers something dangerous. He's really strong now. And naturally, he immediately gets cocky. A herd of herbivores comes to drink. He charges in and sends the entire group running. A small predator walks past carrying a lizard. One trunk swing, and whoop! Then he just stands there, waiting. Like, come on, hit me back. Even a pterosaur flying overhead gets a big mastodon shout. 5 tons. In this forest, very few creatures are willing to challenge him, and he starts thinking, yeah, this must be what being powerful feels like. And then, he finally met a mother who wasn't playing around. She didn't roar, she simply turned sideways and swung that tail. 4 massive tail spikes came flying straight at him. Yeah, suddenly being 5 tons of confidence didn't feel so useful. Down he went, and for the first time, backed away. He spent an entire month struggling to walk normally, and during that month, something changed. For once, he stopped charging first and started watching. Who can you mess with? Which ground is soft? And which slope gives you an escape route? 10 years later, he stood 4.2 meters tall, 11 tons of mammoth. His tusks curved nearly 3 meters long, and beneath that thick coat was enough muscle to move an entire tree. Even a pack of predators once pushed him into a corner. But then the river exploded. The giant crocodilian struck from the water, forcing the predators to retreat. And now, he was back, 4.2 meters tall, 11 tons heavy, and walking straight toward the riverbank. 3 predators were feeding nearby. Most animals would go around. Him? Nope. He walked directly toward them. The 3 predators turned together and surrounded him. Classic pack strategy. One rushed in and grabbed his shoulder. He didn't dodge. He actually leaned into it. Boom! 11 tons of mammoth muscle sent a 2-ton predator flying. 2 trees went down with it. The second predator charged. Bad idea. A 3-meter tusk came up like a giant battering ram. The attacker was thrown completely off balance. And the third one? Yeah, he suddenly remembered an appointment somewhere else. From that day on, the river valley had a new ruler. Year 16. 13 tons. And then, something much worse arrived. An 11-meter super predator. Fast, powerful, absolutely confident. And it wanted the valley. More importantly, it wanted the mammoth. Got caught off guard. The predator moved faster than anything he'd faced before. He was forced back into the forest. 10 years earlier, he would have charged straight back in, and probably regretted it immediately. But he wasn't that baby anymore. The reckless little troublemaker had finally grown up. The predator didn't follow. The forest was packed with thick tree trunks. An 11-meter predator couldn't turn easily in there, but those 3-meter tusks? Perfectly designed for close quarters. The predator waited outside the forest for a long time. Then, finally, he walked away. But the mammoth wasn't finished. He spent 2 days scouting, and he found the perfect battlefield, a steep, rocky slope. And then he did something very clever. He deliberately exposed his injured side. He limped uphill, and the predator took the bait. Halfway up the slope, the 13-ton mammoth suddenly turned. He slammed into a huge rock. Boom! Rocks came crashing down. The predator dodged, but lost his balance. That was the moment. Down came the tusks. 13 tons of momentum sent the predator crashing down the slope. The mammoth raised one enormous foot and brought it down. Silence. Far away, 2 eyes watched from the river. Then slowly, they disappeared beneath the water. From a 300-kilogram baby who couldn't stop causing trouble, to a 13-ton ruler of the river valley. He didn't survive because he was always the strongest. He survived because every painful lesson became another reason to live.